Namaskar, welcome, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Namaskar.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Namaskar to everybody. Namaskar.
Good morning.
Namaskar.
प्रोग्राम में निकाल आया ना टाइम से निकाल के रखा था।
सर वीसी सर ने ज्वाइन कर लिया है सरस्वत जी ने।
चल देखने ही नहीं है। गुड मॉर्निंग।
Good morning.
नमस्कार। बुराया जी नमस्कार।
नमस्कार साहब, नमस्कार। नमस्कार।
हाँ नमस्कार सर।
जी नमस्कार।
नमस्कार जी।
सर सरस्वत जी ने ज्वाइन कर लिया है।
सारस्वत जी नमस्कार। डॉक्टर दर हियर।
नमस्कार नमस्कार।
नमस्कार। I think we can start. It is good to start before time.
Yes.
Anand, we should start now.
Yes, sir. Rupali ma'am.
Yes, sir. Hello and a very good morning to everyone present here. Today is a wonderful day and it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all on the 7th Foundation Day of our university. On behalf of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, I would like to welcome our chief guest and all the visionaries of our university and the trust members of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Trust. I would also like to welcome all the faculty members, staff, and students present online here for the celebration of Foundation Day. Before beginning the event, let us virtually light the lamp of knowledge and wisdom to take blessings from the Ma Saraswati.
रूपाली मैम अनम्यूट करिए।
Thank you, sir. I now request Honorable Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya to welcome our chief guest Padma Bhushan Dr. Vijay Kumar Saraswat, Member Niti Ayog, Formal Secretary Department of Defence, Research and Development, Government of India, and Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri. Thank you. I would like to request Honorable Vice Chancellor of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Dr. Upinder Dhar, for the welcome address.
Good morning to all of you. Our chief guest, Dr. B.K. Saraswat ji, Honorable Chancellor Shri Purushottam Das ji Pasari, Honorary Secretary of Vidyapeeth Trust, Shri Kamal Narayan ji Buradia, all the directors, faculty colleagues, guests, and my dear students. At the outset, I would like to congratulate all those who are part of this university on this special occasion when we are celebrating the 7th foundation day of the university, this young university. Though the legacy goes back to 137 years, because our first trust, the parent trust, was established in 1884. 6 years back, that is in January 2015, when Gazette notification was issued regarding the establishment of this university, one of the first challenges before all of us was to be different from what is being done elsewhere. We wanted to be different and do things differently to ensure quality in all that we offer. So therefore, there are certain USPs so far as our university is concerned. Our university, right from the beginning, we have been emphasizing that it is a value-based, activity-driven institution. On one hand, values are very important for us. We do not compromise on the values. Even, in fact, one full course on professional ethics and human values is taught to all the students who enroll in the university, irrespective of the discipline. Whether the student is in engineering or science or agriculture, any discipline, he or she has to study professional ethics and human values course. Intention is to sensitize the students towards values, the value system. Secondly, when we say activity driven, what I mean to say by that we have never restricted the students to classrooms. They are always encouraged to go beyond classrooms and develop the skills, develop the planning skills, organizing skills, and learn by way of that. Do the networking with the students studying elsewhere and learn from each other. So that's how, right from beginning, we are value-based, activity-driven institution. Secondly, right from the beginning, the orientation has been to have a strong interface with industry. We have signed MOUs with number of companies like IBM, TCS, Red Hat, Impetus, to name a few. Intention is to have more orientation towards practicality. On all our boards, the university has 9 boards of studies. We have representation from industry and R&D organizations. Like in Indore, we have RCAT. We have scientists who are representing, who are there in some of the boards of studies. So here we believe that theory alone cannot work. There has to be a blend between theory and practice. So we need to have people who can tell us that what is the requirement of industry. See, by the time our students pass out, they should be ready with the skills which are required at that time. Therefore, we are not only focusing on the contemporary skills, but we also focus on the skills which may be required tomorrow. So today, after COVID-19, a lot of technology is being used. Many things are happening on the online platform. In fact, we also, from the 1st April 2020, shifted everything on the online platform, on the virtual platform. We are talking a lot about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other such concepts. I am happy to share with our chief guest that we had started BTech in artificial intelligence 4 years back in association with IBM. So when I'm saying we have signed MOUs with various companies, what I mean is that they are fully involved in what we are doing. One course in every semester is taught by people from IBM and TCS and other such companies. so that they are part of us, so that as a blend, we teach the students. Further, the university is a multidisciplinary university. We have not restricted ourselves to a single discipline. Right from the beginning, we made it a point that we have multiple disciplines and students get exposed to various disciplines. The disciplines range from engineering to forensic science to management, social sciences, agriculture, and so on and so forth. Further, another area of priority has been research. We have always emphasized on quality research. And right from the beginning of the university, besides undergraduate, postgraduate, and dual degree programs, university introduced doctoral degree also. And we have been getting very good scholars under this program. We have also established certain centers of excellence to promote research. For example, Center of Excellence in Plasma Physics, which was inaugurated by Padma Vibhushan Dr. Anil Kakodkarji in 2016. And we have received more than 1 crore, about 1.5 crore financial support from Department of Atomic Energy through BRNS to support us for doing research in the Center of Excellence. Similarly, there are other centers of excellence like Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, Vocational Studies, and so on. Intention is to promote research and skills amongst the students. Further on, to familiarize the students with the contributions made by Indian scholars, we have established various oration series. For example, we started Aryabhat Memorial Oration in 2016. It is an annual oration, and many well-known and eminent scholars of the country have visited the campus. Till last year, people used to visit, and after Corona-19, we have not discontinued any of our activities. We are continuing on the virtual platform. So on virtual platform also, number of great scholars of the country have delivered Aryabhat Memorial Oration. Similarly, we have C.V. Raman Memorial Oration, Srinivasa Ramanujan Memorial Oration, Vikram Sarabhai Memorial Oration. Intention is to familiarize and sensitize the students about the contributions made by the scholars. So it is not enough to study what is given in the textbooks written by the foreign authors. Our students must know, our younger generation must know the great contributions made by Indian scholars. That's why these orations have been established. So far, more than 30 Padma awardees and Bhatnagar awardees have visited the campus to inspire our students. Intention is to inspire the students and faculty. To further inspire the students, they are encouraged to get involved in community development programs. Our students are doing, we are having a Rotaract club on the campus so that the students get sensitized to the social issues. Intention is to sensitize. Similarly, we have another chapter on cancer foundation chapter. Students are involved in that so that they know, besides what is given in the syllabus, what is given in the textbook, they must also know more about the society, about the community, about those who are less fortunate, and how they can help them, how they can support them. Lastly, university being an activity-driven and forward-looking institution, university is fully involved, actively involved in the implementation plan of the National Education Policy 2020. So university is represented on various committees which have been constituted by the Government of India for preparing the implementation plan. So these are some of the activities that we have been doing in this university, and we have been doing it in this short span of 6 years, and intention is to do things differently without compromising on the quality of education. So with these words, I once again welcome our chief guest on this special occasion, and I wish very best to everybody on this platform. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the welcome address and for sharing the milestones of the university. Now, I would like to request Honorable Chancellor of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Shri Purushottam Das Ji Pasari, to address us.
नमस्कार। आदरणीय मुख्य अतिथि पद्म भूषण डॉक्टर विजय कुमार जी सारस्वत, सदस्य नीति आयोग, पूर्व सचिव रक्षा विभाग, भारत सरकार और रक्षा मंत्री के विशेष सलाहकार, विश्वविद्यालय कुलपति डॉक्टर उपेंद्र धर जी, श्री वैष्णव विद्यापीठ ट्रस्ट के सचिव श्री कमल नारायण जी भुराड़िया, श्री वैष्णव सहायक ट्रस्ट के सचिव श्री देवेंद्र कुमार जी मुच्छाल, श्री वैष्णव शैक्षणिक एवं पारमार्थिक न्यास के सचिव श्री गिरधर गोपाल जी नागर, श्री वैष्णव जय ट्रस्ट के सचिव श्री राधा कृष्ण जी सोनी, वैष्णव शैक्षणिक एवं पारमार्थिक न्यास के समस्त ट्रस्टीगण, सभी अतिथिगण, डायरेक्टर्स, हेड ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट, विश्वविद्यालय के समस्त अधिकारीगण एवं प्रिय विद्यार्थियों, आज हमारे लिए यह अत्यंत ही गौरवमयी क्षण है कि हमारा विश्वविद्यालय सफलतापूर्वक अपनी स्थापना के 6 वर्ष पूर्ण कर 7वें वर्ष में प्रवेश करने जा रहा है। इस विशेष दिन को हम प्रतिवर्ष की भांति आज दिनांक 8 जनवरी को आप सभी की उपस्थिति में मनाने जा रहे हैं। साथियों, आप सभी को यह अवगत कराते हुए अत्यंत हर्ष का अनुभव हो रहा है कि श्री वैष्णव विद्यापीठ विश्वविद्यालय समाज के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों की जरूरतों को विविध विधाओं में उच्च शिक्षा के माध्यम से पूर्ण करने की ओर प्रयासरत है तथा स्थापना के अल्प समय में ही यह विश्वविद्यालय प्रादेशिक एवं राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर उन्नतशील संस्थान के रूप में अपने आप को प्रतिष्ठित करने में सफल रहा है। कोविड काल में भी विश्वविद्यालय ने ऑनलाइन माध्यम से शिक्षण कार्य को सुचारू रूप से जारी रखा। विश्वविद्यालय में उत्कृष्ट तथा उच्च गुणवत्तापूर्ण प्रशिक्षण, अनुभवी प्राध्यापक, प्रयोगशालाएं एवं अध्ययन तथा अध्यापन हेतु अनुकूल वातावरण छात्र छात्राओं को उपलब्ध है। बंधुओं, आज इस अवसर पर मुझे बताते हुए प्रसन्नता हो रही है कि वैष्णव ट्रस्ट एवं उसकी सहयोगी संस्थाओं ने गत 136 वर्षों से इंदौर शहर में नर सेवा नारायण सेवा मंत्र को आधार मानकर जन सेवा एवं जन कल्याण के अनेक प्रकल्प संचालित किए हैं। वर्ष 1884 में इंदौर के वस्त्र व्यवसायियों ने स्वयं के व्यवसाय पर शैक्षिक टैक्स लगाकर श्री वैष्णव सहायक कपड़ा मार्केट कमेटी की स्थापना की थी। इसका मूल उद्देश्य असहाय बंधुओं तथा जरूरतमंद नागरिकों की सहायता करना, पशु पक्षियों का आहार देना तथा साधु संतों की सेवा करना था। सभी पूर्ववर्ती संस्थापकों की दूरदर्शितापूर्ण नीतियों के क्रियान्वयन के फलस्वरूप संस्था द्वारा 1925 में श्री वैष्णव अन्न क्षेत्र एवं श्री रामकृष्ण बाग और 1934 में श्री वैष्णव आयुर्वेदिक औषधालय की स्थापना की गई थी। यह औषधालय विगत 86 वर्षों से आज भी संचालित है एवं अब इसमें आयुर्वेदिक, एलोपैथिक तथा होम्योपैथिक पद्धति से मरीजों का निःशुल्क इलाज किया जाता है। सन 1951 में श्री क्लाथ मार्केट वैष्णव हायर सेकेंडरी स्कूल की स्थापना की गई। यह विद्यालय स्थापित होना वैष्णव ट्रस्ट के इतिहास में टर्निंग पॉइंट सिद्ध हुआ। इसके पश्चात 1962 में श्री वैष्णव पॉलिटेक्निक, 1967 में श्री वैष्णव वाणिज्य महाविद्यालय, 1981 में श्री वैष्णव बाल मंदिर, 1997 में श्री वैष्णव इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट, 1992 में श्री वैष्णव कन्या विद्यालय, 1993 में श्री वैष्णव एकेडमी, 1995 में श्री वैष्णव प्रौद्योगिकी एवं विज्ञान संस्थान तथा 2005 में श्री वैष्णव विधि संस्थान तथा श्री वैष्णव शिक्षक प्रशिक्षण महाविद्यालय स्थापित किए गए। आज इन सभी संस्थाओं में 21,000 से अधिक विद्यार्थी अध्ययनरत हैं। उल्लेखनीय है कि न लाभ न हानि के आधार पर यह संचालित सभी संस्थाएं अपनी प्रतिष्ठा से संपूर्ण प्रदेश को गौरवान्वित कर रही है। सभी शासकीय औपचारिकताएं पूर्ण करने के पश्चात सन 2015 में श्री वैष्णव विद्यापीठ विश्वविद्यालय मध्य प्रदेश निजी विश्वविद्यालय स्थापना एवं संचालन अधिनियम के अंतर्गत स्थापित किया गया। विश्वविद्यालय की स्थापना मानवता के बेहतर भविष्य के उत्थान को उत्कृष्ट शिक्षा, प्रशिक्षण एवं अनुसंधान के माध्यम से सुलभ करने की दृष्टि से की गई है। विश्वविद्यालय का उद्देश्य ऐसा उत्कृष्ट शैक्षणिक वातावरण प्रदान करना है जिससे कि बौद्धिक, नैतिक तथा आध्यात्मिक प्रेरणा मिल सके एवं मूल्य निर्धारित नेतृत्व को क्षमता को पोषित किया जा सके। विश्वविद्यालय हमेशा सामाजिक रूप से जिम्मेदार नागरिकों के विकास एवं वैश्विक समाज के विकास की ओर प्रयासरत है। विश्वविद्यालय में हम कई नवीन पाठ्यक्रम का संचालन कर रहे हैं, जिसमें रेलवे इंजीनियरिंग, बिग डाटा एनालिटिक्स, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स, मेकाट्रॉनिक्स, फॉरेंसिक साइंस, एग्रीकल्चर इंजीनियरिंग, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, सोलर एनर्जी जैसे कई नए कोर्सेस हैं। बदलते समय के साथ विद्यार्थियों को ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज तथा इंडस्ट्री की जरूरतों के हिसाब से भी नए विषय पढ़ाए जा रहे हैं। हम लगातार अपने विश्वविद्यालय में उत्कृष्ट एवं नवीन तकनीक से शिक्षण कार्य कराने की ओर अग्रसर हैं। अंत में मैं आपका ज्यादा समय नहीं लेते हुए बस इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा कि मुझे विश्वास है कि हमारा विश्वविद्यालय इसी प्रकार विद्यार्थियों को उत्कृष्ट शिक्षा प्रदान करता रहेगा एवं शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में नए आयामों को हासिल करते हुए देश के भविष्य की नींव सुदृढ़ करने में अपना महत्वपूर्ण योगदान देता रहेगा। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words of wisdom. It's a matter of great honor and pride that we have with us a very renowned personality, Padma Bhushan, Dr. Vijay Kumar Saraswat. To introduce our chief guest and reading the citation of Dr. V.K. Saraswat, I would like to invite Head of the Department of Information Technology and Coordinator of the program, Dr. Jigyasu Dubey.
Thank you, Rupali ma'am. I feel honored and privileged to read the citation for Padma Bhushan Dr. Vijay Kumar Saraswat.
One small request I have, if you can make it short, very, very brief, I'll be very grateful.
Okay, I will try, sir. I quote, Dr. Vijay Kumar Saraswat retired as Secretary, DRDO, after more than 4 decades of government service. He is ME from IISc Bangalore and PhD from Osmania University and a gifted scientist with vast experience in defense research in both basic and applied sciences. During his illustrious career, Dr. Saraswat has been credited with indigenous development of missiles, namely Prithvi, Dhanush, Prahar, and Agni 5. Development of two-tiered ballistic missile defense (BMD) system. Initial operational clearance of light combat aircraft Tejas and nuclear submarine INS Arihant. As Secretary DRDO, Dr. Saraswat played a pivotal role in establishment of the command, control, communication, storage, transportation, and deployment infrastructure for strategic nuclear assets to support the nuclear doctrine, flight evolution of long-range subsonic cruise missile, long-range radars for tracking incoming enemy ballistic missiles, command control and communication network command centers with decision support system for defense of national capital region against enemies, ballistic missile threats, established cybersecurity research and development center for deploying offensive and defensive technologies for cybersecurity. As Homi Bhabha, Chair Professor and Consultant to IOCL R&D, evolved a roadmap for development of alternate energy system like clean coal technologies, high efficiency concentrated solar power system, bioenergy and hydrogen based economy. Presently, he is Chairman of Research Advisory Council of IOCL R&D. As Chairman NTPC R&D Advisor Council, similar alternate energy technology development plan was prepared with focus on clean coal technologies like integrated gasification and combined cycle technology system, advanced ultra supercritical thermal power plants to work on efficiencies better than 40% and highly reduced greenhouse emissions. Initiated a program for development of silicon photonic technology by setting up Photonic Valley Corporation at Telangana, Government of Telangana initiative in collaboration with Photonics Inc. USA. This will be a game changer for the next generation of the networks like 5G and supercomputers. As chairman of committee for development of Indian microprocessor, led a team to evolve the configuration of M processor for IoT, smart cities, and other ICT applications, laid out the strategy for development with DITI, CDEC, IITM, IITB, and SCL Chandigarh. Two devices have already been developed in IITB and IITM. Evolved a concept document for setting up Indian Railway Research Institute, Shrestha, for Indian Railway that would propel indigenous design and manufacturing in the forthcoming programs like high-speed rail system and dedicated freight corridor, and usher a new era of R&D in railway. As member, Niti Aayog initiated a program to develop methanol economy for transportation, energy generation, and production of chemicals, fertilizers, etc. Production agencies, academic institutions, and petro refineries have been brought on a common platform to leapfrog in methanol economy. AIM-15 gasoline blend, methanol cook stove, and methanol fueled propulsion for inland waterways and methanol fueled gensets are being introduced as part of methanol economy. Initiative in the country, R&D activities in gasification of high-ash content Indian coal has been initiated at academia and industry. Chaired a committee on technical textile and prepared a roadmap for futuristic growth of technical textile in India with respect to promotion of industries for indigenous production of technical textiles and fibers such as carbon and armid for strategic and ballistic needs, laying due on reviving R&D structure in the sector. Chaired a committee and submitted a report titled Roadmap for Make in India in Body Armor, release of Indian standards on body armor by BIS, R&D work on carbon nanotube, led an empowered technical advisory committee for the development of national supercomputing system configuration and strategy for development have been evolved, and program has been launched as a multi-organization mission. He is a recipient of many awards, and most notable among them being Padma Shri 1998 and Padma Bhushan in 2013. He has been conferred honorary doctorate by more than 25 universities. The latest among them has been conferred by Jamia Hamdard in 2018. Unquote. Shri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya, Indore is privileged to present this citation to Dr. Vijay Kumar Saraswat for delivering the 7th Foundation Day oration as distinguished speaker on 8th January 2021. Thank you. Over to Rupali ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I now request Honorable Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya to present the citation to our chief guest, Padma Bhushan Dr. Vijay Kumar Saraswat. I now invite Honorable Chief Guest Padma Bhushan Dr. V.K. Saraswat to address us.
Very good morning, and my greetings to the Honorable Chancellor Shri Purushottam Das Paseri, Vice Chancellor Dr. Upendra Garg, the esteemed members of the Foundation, the distinguished professors, my dear students, distinguished invitees, and ladies and gentlemen. I would like to, first of all, send my best wishes and greetings to all the members of the Vaishnav Vishwavidyalaya community for their 7th Foundation Day. It's many happy returns, and I hope that this institution will continue to contribute to India's growth in the area of education, ethics, culture, and also bring in younger generations to the fore for the development of the nation. Whatever I heard from the Vice Chancellor and the Chancellor, I think the university is doing a human service, and it is an example for many others to emulate. I'm going to talk to you today as a part of this foundation lecture on the science and technology transformation for achieving sustainable society. For this, I would like to share my screen because I have a presentation. I'll try if I can share the screen. Kindly confirm.
Yes, sir. Please share.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll make it full now. Yeah, so science and technology transformation for achieving sustainable society is one of the major demand today, because India has been part of the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. And many of you, if you are aware of that now, we are a signatory, we want to follow, and we want to make sure that our country is converted into a sustainable society. And in this process, the science and technology and innovation are the three things which are going to play a major role, because as if you know, science has been responsible for the growth of the society from the many centuries. And the growth of science and technology has been similar in the recent past, improving the quality of life of the human beings. What we are today, what we are enjoying, all the fruits of this in terms of transportation, in terms of communication, in terms of power, in terms of food. I think it's all because of the major development that took place over last many centuries in the science and technology. Now, emergence of new technologies has opened up myriad opportunities and applications, and now it is left to the ingenuity and the imagination of the human beings, human mind, to explore and exploit them further. With the established base of multiple technologies all over the world, scientific minds have to come together for new innovations. And innovation is the building block for the economic growth that has been realized by all nations across the world. Now, what is the science and how it is related to society? For us to understand this, it is important that we understand that science is a tool for society's problem solving. And that has been seen over the many centuries. The motivation to carry out science and technology are, what are those motivations? Where we really want to understand the universe and all it contains. And also, of course, use the science for the betterment of the lives, health, and freedom for all the people. The first part of motivation for doing science is basic research, and the second part is called the applied research. When both are combined, it's used called inspired basic research. And science is to be in league with majority of our society. Investment policy, utilization of available resources, and sustainable developments form a triad and become the foundation for transforming our nation into a knowledge-based society. We are actually transforming due to science from an agri-based society to a knowledge-based society via industrialization and so on and so forth. Now today we are moving from in agri to the knowledge-based society. Now, what are the basic tenets of the science and technology? If you look at it, we have what is called science and technology in society. There are three perspectives. One is the scientific perspective, another one is the technological perspective, and third one is the perspective regarding ecological, economic, and political. All these three perspectives combined together form the basis for science and technology society. If the people, if the politicians, if the decision makers combine these three perspectives, then we have a science technology based society, and that is the building block for doing what is called the decision making. So many issues in society involve science and technology with respect to their decision making process, and that's why for sustainability, science and technology becomes a major building block. Next, when we go for science is the principal driver of change. Now, what are the changes which are taking place? I think Honorable Chancellor as well as Vice Chancellor have highlighted the kind of changes which are taking place today, both in society, environment, health and medical, and the security. And they are all driven by basic growth in the science and technology. Science has the power to completely transform civilization. For some, science has made life comfortable, secure. For others, it meant death and destruction also. I come from a background where I worked of using science for development of weapons and systems. But I've also seen that how those technologies can be made use of for the betterment and the good life of the human beings and better society. As we say, development and security, they are the two sides of the same coin. Development without security is meaningless, and security without development has no meaning. So it is important that we have to play a balance between them. And that's why these changes which are reflected here to create a science-based economy are important. There is social change, environmental change, health and medical change using biotechnology, and national security change, which I was mentioning to you. Now, in the present context, and particularly after this pandemic and during this pandemic, we find that the nature of science and technology is undergoing a transformation. We are now seeing the science going from linear systems to non-linear systems. What does it mean? We mean that now we are not looking at something which is going to be predictive in a nature, like a curve as in a linear fashion. Whereas the non-linear system will require multiplication of large number of other disciplines and bringing in what we call singular to the multidisciplinary to system-based approach. That is what is coming up now. We are seeing already. Accepting complexity from certainty to probabilistic. There used to be a system that we have. For example, there is a very fixed way. Yes, Newton's law of motion. There what is certainty, gravity. There's a certainty. But now the science is changing to a probabilistic approach, and that's why the new domains which are coming, which are being impacting now, are the artificial intelligence and big data, which are basically the processes which have statistical in nature, probabilistic in nature, but they will be able to give you much better insight into all the processes which are being developed or which are being understood. So, in the normal and post-normal, there are changes which are taking place, and science is becoming complex. Science is impacting increasingly in society. You saw during the pandemic, the way science helped all of us. Now, today's vaccines, what we are seeing today, is a real example of how science can be done in a coordinated manner globally to ensure that in a very short time you are able to provide succor to the society. Same is the case when we were looking for medicines for the coronavirus. When people came together and built large number of devices and medicines, including ventilators and so on. So it has a tremendous impact. We can see in disaster management, in agriculture, that's uncertain. Now the point is, the uncertainty factors are becoming more and more because of the way the things are, and there's much which is unknown. So it is important for science to now discover those unknowns much better. And stakes are very high today. As you are seeing today, the global economy, it's a global world. World is a global village. And in that, if you are not, and the stakes are high, if you're not able to have your economy going in the way, and science is not contributing to it, then we are at loss. Decision making is urgent. You can't delay. Time is running out. So it is important that the scientific growth based upon that decisions, they have to be done in a very quick manner. There's a high values component and values are in dispute. I was very happy to hear that your university is having a course in ethics and professionalism. I think the most important thing in our country is, why our country, globally also, to have the highest values, and values are in dispute. There are values which are in dispute. We are seeing on an everyday basis, whatever laws, whatever good reforms our government trying to do, there are people who are opposing them. There are agencies which are not able to appreciate that. So these are values in dispute. As a result, it is important that high values have to be brought in force. The science applied or needed in the policy space is often post-normal, as we call it today. Now, since I'm talking of sustainability, it is important for me to give you a glimpse of what is sustainability. Actually, sustainability is utilization and development of natural resources in ways which are compatible with the maintenance of these resources and with the conservation of environment for future generation. That means you should use them in such a manner that our future generations have plenty of them. They are not able to, they don't run into shortages, and they are able to enjoy life than what we have enjoyed so far. So these are the basic tenets of sustainability, and there are three pillars, as we call them: the environmental pillar, the social pillar, and the economic pillar. Environmental pillar is basically with respect to natural resources, pollution prevention, and biodiversity. Social is standard of living, education, jobs, equal opportunities, and economic growth. Economics is growth, profit, cost savings, and research and development. And environmental and economic become very important because it is sometimes it plays what is called in the not a very win-win game. What you do for example energy, you can pollute the environment, and what you do for controlling the pollution, you can affect the economy. So economic and environmental require a different approach, and that's why energy efficiency, renewable fuels, subsidies and initiatives for green technologies, these are some of the measures which form part of the sustainability initiatives. Now, what are the various, what is the need for sustainable development? Why we are talking of that we should have sustainable development? In detail, if we look at it, there is over exploitation of natural resources. 1 million species tracked for almost extinction because of the usage. The decline of more than 60% of the world's marine species is taking place. Then there's a scarcity of resources. Food production needs to be doubled over the next 40 years at a time when almost 23% of the world's agricultural land has been degraded. Nearly 2/3 of the world's population will be living in water scarce, water stressed years by 2025. You are going to have this problem. And you have increase in atmospheric temperature and extreme weather conditions due to the climate change. And that will also result into rising sea levels, and as a result, flooding of the boundary of the coastal areas, extinction of the threat to small islands, nations due to the climate change. This is what's going to happen. So scarcity of resources, climate change, overexploitation of natural resources are the basic factors which are driving us for sustainable development. Now, what is new in science and technology for study? We have been doing science and technology for so many years, but you have seen that whatever we have done has left a very negative impact on our planet Earth. We have pollution because of the thermal power plants. We have pollution due to our automobiles, what we are using. We have climate change, which is happening. We have flooded agriculture, making our land very bad. Although we have increased the productivity of our agricultural lands, but flooded agriculture, we have a scarcity of water coming there. So variety of negative impacts of the technologies which have been developed. It becomes imperative on our part to now look at those technologies. The way we have done science so far has to be transformed in such a manner that it will not affect the planet adversely. And for that, bringing together environmental science and development science through a research on nature-society interaction. How the nature and society will be affected. Whenever you try to take a decision, I think you should, as I used to call sometimes, that you should pass it through what is called sustainability filter. That means, does it satisfy the requirements of all the three pillars of what we talked of? Concern for enlarging scientific capacity in developing countries and providing scientific support for local action. It cannot remain only for cities. Whatever we are doing, that concern should go into the villages, into the districts, and so on. The local action is very important. Science that is integrative, that is natural and social science, sectors of human activities, scholars and practitioners, all of them have to be integrated together to get the sustainability goals. If we don't do that, if the scientist keeps on doing only for understanding and creating knowledge, and he does not bother about what is required by the society, and if the society does not bother about what would be the requirement when it's used for consumption, things like that, then you are in difficulty. So it has to be integrative. Science that is fundamental, scale, non-linear processes, complexity, and the unity of the nature and the society, as I mentioned to you earlier. Science that is regional and place-based, where people and ecosystems are, where a transition can happen, where integration takes place, where complexity is understandable. That is the most important part in today's new science, which we have to do for sustainability. Now, there are global trends and social wish for the 21st century. In fact, this is a global thing which has been identified to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. What they have said is that for the global trends are that technology breakthrough, innovation and globalization leading to rapid changes in industrial structures and social systems is what is going to happen. But all this will happen because of the technology inputs like nano, bio and information technologies, high-speed digital communication, massive transportation systems, personalized health and medical care, smart energy, ubiquitous finance, and so on. Economy of scale to economy of satisfaction. Now, this is a very important point. Economy of scale to economy of satisfaction. Today, what is happening? China has created so much of economy of scale that actually it has gone beyond what is satisfaction. That scale is so large. Today, China has become the manufacturing hub for the whole globe. Now, that has got what is called satisfaction, not for itself, but it is trying to capture the entire thing. So this is a balance between economy of scale to economy of satisfaction. You have to have the scale up, yes, no doubt, but only to the level when you are satisfied. Social wish for sustainable development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their need, as I mentioned earlier. Now, there are 6 necessary and desirable transformation for sustainability. For example, there is a requirement for an energy revolution facilitating a global energy transformation in which 80% reduction in carbon dioxide emissions by 2050. This is one of the transformations required for sustainability. That's why all the arrangements which are being done, like the COP21 and things like that, where countries have joined hands to basically go for energy systems which are less polluting and reducing the carbon dioxide emissions. Future food, food system transformation to achieve plus 70% production by 2030 through sustainable intensification. See, we have also done our green revolution. In our green revolution, we could certainly make our country self-sufficient in the food. But what is its negative impact? We have flooded irrigation, we have overuse of the fertilizers, we have overuse of the pesticides, leading to the fact that our 2/3 of the land mass today is becoming unusable for agriculture. Now, this is not the way sustainable agriculture is done. So we have to now do agriculture using a sustainable technology like precision agriculture, precision irrigation, and so on. An urban planet achieving sustainable urban living. Now, this is a very important part because as I'm talking to you, in 1 minute, more than 30 people are coming from maybe some village in close to Indore into the city of Indore. You know, that is a kind of movement is taking place. That means you are going to have a situation where the planet will become more and more urban. But that urbanization should be with the major impact, what we call sustainability living. That is what we have to get. Not the way we have created slums, we have created ghettos, we have created bad roads, we have created bad sewerage systems. No, that is not the way sustainable living, urban living has to be done. It has to be done in a much more refined manner. Similarly, the population is going to rise. Today, we are about 6 to 7 billion in the world, and it is going to be more than 9 billion people by the end of 2050. So obviously, we have to plan for this rising population, both in respect of food, space, and transportation. We have to protect and restore and sustain a biodiversity management transformation. Whatever we have done so far has impacted the biodiversity, like our rivers, our lakes, our seas, and our biosystems like fish and others. Everything is getting affected. So we have to protect, restore, and sustain them. Strengthen global governance. This is the most important part. Equity participation. That means participation of population in the public government's transportation. If we are going to make laws and rules for a society, I think this has to be ensured that we have participation of the population, of the people, so that we have an equal equity for and without any gender bias of any kind. So we have the science improving understanding of threats and possibilities, enabling advances in technology, and technology driving economic growth via new products and services, reduced cost, increased productivity, reducing resource use and environmental impacts, and science and technology integrated assessment of options used advice to decision makers and the public about cost benefits, dangers, uncertainties, science and technologies for education towards a more S&T literate society. In the pandemic, you have seen how the remote learning and e-learning has been in a position to continue the education process. The e-health, how it has been able to provide the kind of succor to the people in the pandemic. So these are kind of major contributions which are taking place. Now, for doing this, it is important for us to identify what are the core research themes in science and technology for sustainability. I'm not talking of just artificial intelligence and things like that. What I'm saying is we have to look at much more fundamental issues which are related to science. For example, modeling dynamic interaction between nature and society. We should model that, how the societal activities affect the nature and how the natural changes, they affect the society. So this should be modeled dynamically based upon the inputs which are produced on a day-to-day basis. So there should be a scientific method of doing it, and that enable us to take correct decisions. Changing long-term trends in environment and development. It has to, whatever fact was there we are seeing, we have to now change. Understanding vulnerability and resilience of places, ecosystems, and human livelihoods. We have to see what are the kind of vulnerability and resilience. If we don't see that, understand properly, then we will never do a change. Identify limits or thresholds of serious degradation. This is what is happening. If our hills are getting degraded, if our fields are getting degraded, what are the limits for that? For example, if I have all my hill stations being overcrowded, you are going to have serious problems of degradation of the hills. You are likely to run into serious problems of ecosystem. So there are limits to this, and these limits have to be identified. Creation of new incentives to move society towards more sustainable trajectories. I think you have to pay a price somewhere. When you start learning to use things without actually thinking about it, without thinking about their adverse impact, then people take it for granted and they don't want to change. So there is important requirement to create incentives to move society towards sustainable living and trajectories. So that has to be done. Provide using knowledge to navigate to transition towards sustainable living. And that is the point we have been talking about. Now, what are the sustainability touch points? Like we said, the three pillars are there: economy, ecology, and society. In the case of economy, you will see the few things like digitization, biodiversity, ecology, sorry, not economy, ecology. And then you will have mobility concepts, durable products, alternative nutritional concepts, the renewable energies, and alternative urban concepts. That is what these are the touch points for sustainability. In the case of economy, it is efficiency in all actions, whether it is agriculture, it is production or transport. Efficiency is the buzzword. Then competitiveness. If you are not globally competitive in your present processes, then you run into problems that you will have to that is what is happening in our country. Because we were not competitive, today we are over dependent on China for everything that is imported, right from a military item to some of the very things like even manja for patang. You know, that is the kind of thing that is happening. Positive user experience is important. Innovative capability should be there. If innovation is not there, then we are not going to have economic growth. Quality, of course, is the most important part, which needs to be settled today. I mean, if you don't have good quality products, then you will not be able to compete. You have to make sure that you are having good quality standards. Sustainability and customer loyalty. In the society, what is doing education, human rights, equal opportunity, health protection, inclusion, ethical use of technologies, data and privacy protection. These are some of the major things that have to be important touch points for the sustainability. Now, there are 6 technology transformations for achieving the sustainable development goals, and these are going to make a major difference. For example, the digital revolution, which you are talking of, which have been talked about by both Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor. The artificial intelligence, the big data, the tech, the nanotech, and autonomous systems. completely transform the society in terms of how they have worked so far and how they will be doing in future. It will bring in efficiency, it will bring in a lot of better understanding, and it will also be helping you to improve the efficiency under the most adverse condition. The next thing that is happening is the smart cities. The way the technology revolution is taking place, it is going to make cities smart, where you will have decent housing, better mobility, sustainable infrastructure. What we are seeing is the green buildings, non-polluting transportation, pollution-free energy production systems, and good management using the digital platforms and so on. Ease of doing business, all will become part of the smart cities. Then food and biosphere and water. As I mentioned to you, they will be part of the sustainable intensification of biodiversity, control of forests, oceans, healthy diets, and nutrients. In the case of human capacity and demography, what we are doing today is to make our young population. India has the biggest advantage today because you have a very large young population, what we call as the demographic advantage. Now that can be actually harnessed only if we provide the better skills, good education, provide them good health, and even look after our aging population, and also create very good labor markets, gender equality, and complete in accessibility to all. That will be the kind of thing which we are looking for. Consumption and production, there is a tendency to overuse. I have seen in a marriage function, hundreds of dishes will be made, and at the end of it, when the marriage is over, you find a huge amount of food which is untouched, and it is just being drained into the sewerage. That's not correct. You should have consumption and production of use. It should be resource use, and the new concept which is emerging today is circular economy, in which reuse, recycle, everything will become important. Of course, decarbonization and energy, it is important for the environment, because that is the only way we can reduce pollution. This is a slide which Japanese have actually prepared, and I taken from them. It is an advanced industrial science and technology what Japan is trying to do. They are looking at all technologies for sustainable development in a manner in which it will help the society, and it will build the sustainable society. You can see from green technology for a rich and eco-friendly society, life technology for healthy, safe and secure living, information technology for a super smart society. And under each one of them, you can see they are planning for energy and environment, creation, storage and conservation of energy, and they have international research and development base for renewable energy. Then you have for life sciences, drug discovery and healthcare and bio production. India is doing very well in this area, by the way, because we are the topmost producer of vaccines. We are also good producer of drugs, and our life sciences laboratories in the country are doing phenomenally good work. I think we should be proud of that. Similarly, information and technology and human factors, artificial intelligence, and these things will come. Then you will have the materials and chemistry, where the new processes and materials will develop, electronics and manufacturing, because that is an integral part of the digital revolution, where innovative manufacturing like Internet of Things will happen. Geological survey to find new materials, new resources to feed into the society, and good metrology standards for improved quality and so on. And close collaboration with small and medium-sized enterprises of the regions. Mind it, the word they are using is regions. I think it is important. That's why government is thinking of clustered MSME development, which will ensure that you will have regional integration of the small, medium, and micro industries for meeting the needs of the society. I think we are on the right path, and if we continue to follow that, we will be in a position to achieve the sustainable living. Now, how all these technologies are transforming into tomorrow, what we call as the Industry 4.0 and digital transformation. Now, if you look at the robotics, the drones, the artificial intelligence, the collaborative machines, and they are creating new stakeholders today. Then the new processes like additive manufacturing, sensing what is happening on a machine, and new industrial processes like industrial biology, nanotechnologies, neurotechnologies, which are creating collaborative machines. Then we have inputs coming from mobile technologies like 5G, blockchain. Now the inputs coming from virtual reality and augmented reality, you have already seen this happening. When I was seeing my granddaughter's class on the remote learning, we find that already they have introduced virtual reality and augmented reality to give experience for the children, what we call as immersiveness. That means you are immersed in the class, you are in direct touch with the teachers, and you are able to feel as if you are in the real class. That's the kind of thing which is happening. And I'm sure all these things will certainly be part of the Industry 4.0 and digital transformation of the society, which is part of the sustainable living. Now, economic impact of what each one of them will happen. For example, 5 multi-trillion-dollar innovation platforms as convergence accelerates innovation advances. Each platform like blockchain, technology, genome sequencing, robotics, energy storage, and AI will create multiple trillions in market capitalization over the next decade. And this is how each one of them will be centered around AI, because AI is the basic code. Everything else will be integrated along with that to provide that kind of economic gain in terms of growth. And certainly it is part of the innovation which is actually responsible for the economic growth. The new communication system which is emerging is the 5G, which will enhance the socio-economic satisfaction. For example, with the 5G, you will have transportation more efficient and safer navigation, and people are talking of autonomous driving. Already, even in IIT, some of the couple of institutions and autonomous driving experiences, which will certainly have an impact on reduction in the accidents, efficiency, and traffic management, and so on. Healthcare. We already saw during pandemic, and I think this is becoming a reality where remote medical examination, remote diagnosis, remote curing of the patients, and also integrating the corporate hospitals with the urban rural masses will become a reality through the kind of 5G experience we are going to provide. Because that is going to give you the high speed broadband. In a few milliseconds you will be able to get even a CAT scan directly into the office or the computer of the doctor, and so on. Disaster relief, prediction, robustness, and disaster. In fact, now we will be in a position to do much better management of the disasters. There was a time when Bhuj earthquake took place. I think moving people from one place to another place, even the information that earthquake has taken place did not come on time. So all this will now be the order of the past with 5G. Education, distance learning certainly will give you the virtual experience. Richer contents, multi-user UHDs, teleconferences. We are already doing right now. I am with you, sitting at a distance of more than 1,500 kilometers, where I am able to talk to you. And this is going to become much, much better. House and home security, consumer electronics with remote control, safety and lifeline systems. All this will be completely enhanced with the introduction of the 5G in the society. Now, there is a intelligent evolution of the intelligent internet. All of you are talking of internet today. And we are also talking of Internet of Things. Basically, we are not talking of evolution of the intelligent internet of intelligent things. The vision for 2030 is the edge-driven artificial intelligence. Today, we have cloud-enabled 2G, 3G, 4G, which is a part of the Internet of Things, enabled by cloud AI. When you bring the AI into it and you bring 5G, then you will have Internet of Intelligent Things. And when you have enabled by edge AI and also intelligent and 6G comes in picture, then you will have intelligent Internet of Intelligent Things. That's going to make a tremendous change as far as the system efficiency is concerned, both for understanding, communication, and knowledge transmission and distribution. See, there is a human capacity enhancement through digitalization. As I mentioned to you, all these processes which are there, they are going to improve the human capacity, and which is the most important part we are talking about. The fusion of 5G, AI, and IoT will play a significant role in critical areas. For example, transportation and logistics, AI-based driver assistance and traffic management systems, self-driving vehicles, deliveries by unmanned vehicles, the UAVs and the drones. Then you will have industrial operations, which are part of the Industry 4.0, where factory automation and remote control of the industrial robots, what we call as the cobots, the robot talking to each other for carrying out operations, remote inspections and maintenance, and of course, what we call the training and the skilling. All this will become an integral part of the technologies which are 5G, AI, and IoT. And public healthcare, I mentioned to you, public safety and security will improve. So intelligent connectivity using all of them will certainly improve the human capacity in a big way. And there will be community-based healthcare system. We have seen part of it in the pandemic, but I think it is evolving into a much more stable system where e-health with the patient access, messaging modules, mobile apps on which you can transmit information and contact your doctor and things like that. Individual care plan can be developed, can be provided. For cooperation, you will be able to have consultations, you can get examinations, you can be able to interface with the other health workers, and multidisciplinary consultations you can do. You can have an orthopedic guy, you on the other hand, you can have a neuro fellow. All this is feasible, going to be possible with this kind of a cooperation. And most important thing will be the analysis. The way this AI and others will improve is you will be able to analyze the data in no time. Cohort analysis, research cohort services, all this will become a major initiative as far as the health systems is concerned. So this is where the health system will improve. Let us talk about what happens to the industry and how the industry fellow will realize in the sustainability area. Redefine engineering culture, that's the most important. Away from building things to meeting needs sustainably. That is a mantra. We are always thinking, I built this society. For example, today's in engineering, you see on the left side, the first show will say 19th and 20th century engineer will say, I built all this. I built a dam, I built a building, I built a infrastructure, I built railway, so on. Visible construction at great public expense to meet society's want. That was the way we have been doing. The 21st century engineer will say, I did not need to build anything new. What I've done, providing and refurbishing the minimum to meet the society's needs. I think it's important. Merely building something which may not be needed is not the order anymore. We have to provide and refurbish the minimum to meet the society's need. That's the way the engineer is going to look at it. And that's why the new technologies which are coming tomorrow are going to play a major role. After 2025, quantum technologies, the emerging QAS and the universal quantum computers will boost quantum computing market. And quantum computing, quantum sensing, and cryptography, which is already 2020, is a $532 million industry. By 2025, it will become about 968. And by 2030, we are going to have an industry which will be about 3,255 million. So, which will be having a CAGR going from 13% to almost about 27%. And cryptography will be boosted by new use cases using the quantum computing and quantum assisted technologies. The quantum computing application, which will be going into the sustainable development, are the new chemistry, where you can have a quantum computing optimization techniques, machine learning with hundreds to 1,000 qubits, material science with about 100 to 2,000 qubits for better understanding of material, and many large number of unknown problems which we don't even anticipate today would require certainly a quantum computer with almost about 100,000 qubits and plus. And new applications which will be actually supported in a big way. Cyber security, for example, the kind of codes which are available today, ASIC codes and so on, RSA as we call it, it takes years to break a code. The moment I have quantum computing, the same code I will be able to break in few seconds. New drug development, financial modeling, better batteries will be there, traffic optimization and so on. Now, these are the things which will happen. I was talking to you about manufacturing. So the new manufacturing has actually changed its shape from 1980s to today. Traditional manufacturing used to be substitution, cut material, substitute. Then we came to lean manufacturing, where we started reducing the waste. We said waste should be reduced, so minimize the machining and things like that. Then came green manufacturing. We said, no, we should not have excessive use of energy. Green manufacturing, environmentally benign, what is called 3R based systems. And then today, what we are talking of is a sustainable manufacturing, which is having 6R components, that is reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, redesign, and remanufacture. Now, this is the most innovation elements which are becoming part of the sustainable manufacturing, in which, and this is also part of the circular economy, where 6R approach will be used as far as the manufacturing is concerned. And the factories will be what we call as the green factories, lean factories, clean factories with zero emissions, no waste, sustainable processes, zero carbon footprint, green logistics, remanufacturing and recycling, management of hazardous substances as part of the system, dematerialization. Overuse of materials should not be there. Suppose an aircraft today is using 1 ton of material. There should be a design which will reduce the use of that 1 ton material by new processes to about maybe 800 kilograms and so on. For example, if I use additive manufacturing today, I can reduce a lot of wastage of material. So I don't need that 1 ton. The same product I can manufacture with only half the material which is required for actually producing that kind of a thing. So dematerialization, technical intelligence, mechatronics. I was very happy that you are running a course on mechatronics, because this is a requirement today. Mechanical, electronics, and electrical, all these things, and even tomorrow bio, have to be integrated as part of the systems which you have to produce for sustainable development. So the basic technologies which will satisfy them, as I mentioned to you, the carbon capture and utilization, the carbon sequestration, carbon dioxide capture, and enhanced oil recovery, carbon dioxide for EOR we call it. These are the things which will be part of that, so that CO2 is not released into atmosphere. Reduce, reuse, AI, IoT. Next one which is happening is hydrogen reduction for iron making. Instead of using coke today, why not use hydrogen? And hydrogen is something which we can produce from water using the renewable energy. Hydrogen fueled power generation. So these are the new things which are going to emerge. Fuel cells, which are already coming in hybrid batteries and power electronics. Similarly, the new materials like cellulose-based nanofibers, cell-based material production, bioplastics, and things like that, biofuels, biomass power generation, photovoltaic power generation. All these things are part of the sustainability initiatives, both in terms of economy, both in terms of bioeconomy, and also in terms of sustainable energy. Now, these are the things which are very important. For example, even geothermal power generation. Yesterday only I took a review with many of my counterparts in MNRE. India has got significant amount of geothermal reserves from Kumayu Hills to Kargil. We have huge, those who have gone to Manikar and Anglas, you have seen that hot springs coming out there. And we have done survey through the NGRI, we find that we have a huge resource. Now that steam which is coming out, that hot water which is coming out can be converted into energy without any pollution. Now, although the efficiency is lower, but I think the costs involved are less. So we should exploit as much as possible that kind of a thing. The new economy which is emerging today is low carbon economy versus the fossil fuel based economy. The local supply chains will become the global supply chains. You cannot depend upon local supply chains. You have to be depending upon the global supply chain. Services are not important, but it will be the products which are going to be displayed. I mentioned to you about dematerialization, responsible consumption. I mentioned to overconsumption should not be there. No growth model, unnecessarily don't build. Grow or die model. New ownership models, employees, customers, cooperatives, social venture funds, governing funding. This should be the part of your sustainable economy. New company purposes for benefit, big companies, social enterprises, fourth sector, all this should go. New company purposes should be evolved. Now, what will be the impact of all these technologies which are coming as part of the sustainable development and innovation? So it has been calculated by many agencies. I have now summed up for the benefit of my viewers today that, for example, a mobile internet will lead to 3.7 to 10.8. Minimum is 3.7, maximum is about 10.8 trillion annually. Automation of knowledge work will give you about 5.2 to 6.7. Internet of Things will give about. So for like this, you can see all the technologies, cloud, advanced autonomous vehicles, next generation genomics, each one of them has got tremendous impact as far as the economy is concerned, including the consumer surpluses. So this is the way the impact of this technology will be there in the growth of the economy of the globe. And of course, certainly India will be benefited because many of these technologies we have started working on. We are actually now working in renewable energy. We are doing very well. We are working on mobile internet. We are working on genomics. We are working on energy storage system. We have a good ecosystem for 3D printing. So I think India is also moving well as far as the new technologies are concerned. Now, all these technologies will make a change as far as the society is concerned. As you have seen, as I was mentioning to you, the society was an agrarian society in the earlier 10th century and 17th century. Then we came the industrial society. Then we have information society. And then now today we have what we call as the SDGs Society 5.0. Now, in the agrarian society, you had hydraulic, wind, power, press, mechan, then steam engines came, internal engine, combustion engines came, energy efficiency improved in the industrial region, and data capitalism take place and things like that. So you find that there is a market economy, there's a market force, there's a capitalism, and zero marginal cost going to the conscious capitalism share. These are kind of performance indicators which have been identified. And today, with the advent of these technologies, what was the hunter-seeker society, we have now become the knowledge society, information society, and tomorrow will be society 5.0. And what is the society 5.0? Society 5.0 is a problem solving and value creation, a society where value is created. Diversity, a society where anyone can exercise diverse abilities. Decentralization, a society where anyone can get opportunities anytime, anywhere. Resilience, a society where people can live and pursue challenges in security. Sustainability and environmental harmony, a society where humankind lives in harmony with nature. That's the most important part. Whereas we had society 1.0, which was hunger, the hunter-gatherer society, society 2.0, society 3.0, which was industrial society, and now 4.0 and 5.0 is a super smart society. For doing this, it is important that education also has to play a major role. Being a university, I think you should realize that for you to have a sustainable society, people have to be educated for sustainability. Educational framework for sustainability transformation, there are a few steps we have discussed. First step is a participatory vision of sustainability. There should be a participatory vision which should be available to each one of them. Number two is enabling conditions for sustainability. We have to create such conditions which are suitable for sustainability. The third one is we have to develop competences for sustainable transformation. That is part of the education. And fourth one is pedagogies and learning strategies for education for sustainable development. In fact, there's a movement, education for ESG movement, where they say your focus should not be on the footprint, because footprint, what you leave, is not good for the nature. So what you have instead of footprint, you should depend upon handprint. And handprint is one which is basically going to transform the entire process, which is sustainable society. So this is a part of the ESG system which is in vogue today. And fifth one is monitoring and evaluation of ESG competences and distance from the sustainable state. This diagram, if you see, all these states have been identified, and present is the current unsustainable state. And what we are looking at, that's SDG 5, is the vision for sustainable state through the various transformation strategies which I mentioned to you. R&D will play a major role. Coming from R&D, it is important for me to talk to you about R&D. Globally, the science and technology sector has emerged as one of the major drivers of socio-economic development. Industries, India has a tremendous strength in this area today. We have large demographic dividend. We have strong IT and ITS sector. We have vibrant startup ecosystem today. Today, we are very good in our startup ecosystem. Being a fast-growing economy, India has noticed an increasing demand for scientific inputs to solve various problems in socio-economic, the industrial, and the strategy domains. In order to in order to elevate its global prominence, it is crucial for India to convert those underlying challenges into opportunities. See, the way we used to do traditional R&D, it is changing now. This diagram very clearly shows that with the way technologies have happened, like biosensor, machine learning, 3D printing, all we discussed earlier, all these technologies, now traditional R&D cannot continue. We have to have a new R&D capability elements which are related to ideation and organization with connectivity, the process efficiency, the analytics, and the skills thereof to lead to the R&D of tomorrow, which will take care of all these technologies which are listed on the left-hand side here, like right from biosensors to simulated chemistry to synthetic biology and so on. This all changes the way we conduct research, operations, maintenance. How to prepare and what must be our focus. That should be the part we have to play as far as R&D is concerned. I'm sure your university should also look at the way we have been doing research in the past. Are we changing and following some of these pathways which will be responsible for tomorrow's R&D? It is important. There are challenges. India has some challenges as far as R&D is concerned. One major challenge is our low expenditure on R&D, suboptimal research infrastructure, dearth of private R&D investment. This is one of the major problems. In the private sector, investment or R&D is not there. Missing linkage between industry and academia. While you have been inviting industry, you have also been inviting major esteemed speakers and so on. I think it is important that a university should have a strong bridge between industry and your own institutions. The major underlying challenges which have been highlighted post-COVID, we realize we are highly dependent on import. The presence of stringent regulatory mechanisms for introduction of new drugs, etc., are very stringent. As a result, many private companies found it very difficult to introduce new drugs. Another thing we noticed was that our R&D institutions are able to produce technologies up to TRL 3 or 4. TRL 3 or 4 means technology maturity level 3-4. Now, this does not take you to the market as early as it should happen. For this, the technology should be taken to 6-7, and then only the market capitalize. It will go into market. So that's the point. We are very happy with proof of concept, but we don't go beyond that. Rigorous approval processes, non-availability of firm orders, and line of credit from banks to meet the capital requirement of operations and upgradation of infrastructure. So there is a requirement for bringing reforms into the contribution of R&D output to economy. Government's commitment towards social security, structural reforms. They have been, of course, you have seen how the present government has invested money during the pandemic, provided a large number of, huge inputs for MSMEs and other things. It has built ground for higher value addition and higher global value chain integration while cushioning the impact of COVID-19. Now we have an opportunity to revive animal spirit among our domestic R&D and producers to aim for higher exports. For this, steps should be taken to rationalize costs and taxes and levies in the value chain of production, or figure out ways to reimburse taxes so that the domestic producers get a level playing field with respect to the imports. And we have to also do what is called border adjustment tax to take care of the domestic duties. Taxes and duties hike the production in the range of 15 to 20%, giving disadvantage to our products for importing. There's a need for stricter import regulation and quality standards, regular import monitoring, and world over there's an evidence that providing tax credits and cash benefits have been instrumental for R&D in manufacturing industry in progress. The top 5 innovative countries of the world have tax credit systems in place. I think we should also examine that. Other structural reforms increase our investment in R&D. Today we are spending only 0.7% of GDP. We should take it to 2%. Create zonal R&D clusters, transform all R&D labs to focus on mission mode, translation of societal needs, basic research and development with emphasis on commercialization, formation of National Research Foundation. I think Government of India has already taken a decision. CSR fund should be permitted for use in R&D projects so that we can bring private industry to participate in R&D. Due to fiscal constraints in the COVID, there will be a major issue of funding R&D. So we should now focus on projects with large employment and multiplier effect. We should focus on projects that support the most disadvantaged communities. We should support the project which provide the widest range of economic, social, and health. So that means when you prioritize, these factors have to be taken into account. Focus of R&D investment should shift to biosciences, biotechnology, biomedical engineering. Create a policy and administrative framework to attract talented Indian researchers abroad to participate in the Indian story. Now, what should be our priorities for realizing Atmanirbhar Bharat in part of the sustainable development? Creation of cyber offensive defensive workforce, build technology development roadmap for Industry 4.0, harness the capabilities of CSIR labs to develop technologies for API, that was called intermediates, what we call as advanced pharmaceutical ingredients, and key source materials, KSM. We had problem. We were importing all this from China and supply became a problem. Our paracetamol was also not being produced because of that. So we should come out of this situation. Promulgation of policy on methanol, utilization of domestic reserve for rare earth magnets, development of hydrogen economy, emphasis on developing alternate technologies for lithium-ion battery, setting up silicon, gallium nitride, silicon foundries for indigenous production of ICs and devices. We should now go for a small modular nuclear reactors rather than big reactors, because the cost will be better and you will be able to have a much better efficiency. Production of 70-90 aircraft, regional aircraft. And also we should now go for genetically edited and genetically modified crops, which will give us a major impact. There are 10 ways of sustainable technology to change the world by 2030. AI optimized manufacturing, a far-reaching energy transformation, a new era of computing, healthcare paradigm shift. 5G will enhance the global economy and save the lives. New normal in managing cancer. Technologies drive data, data catalyze knowledge, and knowledge enables empowerment. That's how the cancer will be handled. Robotic retail will come, a clean energy revolution supported by digital twins. The future of construction has already begun. It will be a faster and more cost-effective way to build infrastructure. And gigaton scale CO2 removal will help to reverse the climate change, what we are talking of. So the key message of my talk is the world needs a rapid global transformation to a new development paradigm of human prosperity within the operating space of the earth. That is what we are looking at. The new Anthropocene logic places sustainability at the forefront of all development. The challenge, global revolutions on food and energy, new approaches to urban development, transport, circular economy development, and global governance. That should be a part of our system. Science and technology can and must play a key role in delivering integrated system solutions for world prosperity with Earth's SOS. And planetary challenge requires global network of scientific collaboration. And that is important. I think we cannot see that without international and global collaboration, we can achieve all the sustainability goals. I think it is important for us now to see beyond. And that's why recently, under the direction of the Honorable Prime Minister, we did an exercise called Vaibhav, in which we had a talk with almost 3,000 Indian diaspora scientists, academicians and research with their counterparts in India, and went on for about 3 months on a dialogue on various projects, and evolved almost about 300 projects which can be done using the expertise and the knowledge of the Indian diaspora with the Indian scientists. And that's a good initiative. I think similar international collaboration initiative for sustainable development will go a long way. But most important thing is education. The education for sustainability is the most important part, and that is where your university and your professors and your academicians can play a major role by transforming the R&D structure, by transforming the way the education is given, by bringing in technology for education, by using technology for efficiency, and also ensuring that all the 3 pillars of sustainability, the economy, the social, and environmental, are kept in mind when you take decisions in every aspect of your life. I think this will certainly be the only way we can achieve sustainability. Thank you very much. And I wish you once again very happy 7th Foundation Day and wish you all the best in your endeavors to bring good education to large number of students in the region of Madhya Pradesh and in the country as well. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your profound knowledge with us. You have very well put all the generation of technology and the upcoming systems all together in a tremendous manner. Thank you for blessing us with your thought-provoking address. Now I request Secretary Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Trust, Mr. Kamal Narayan Ji Buradia, to propose words of thanks.
हमारे आज के समारोह के मुख्य अतिथि पद्म विभूषण डॉक्टर विजय कुमार जी सारस्वत, सदस्य नीति आयोग, पूर्व सचिव रक्षा विभाग एवं रक्षा मंत्री के वैज्ञानिक सलाहकार, वैष्णव विद्यापीठ विश्वविद्यालय के माननीय कुलाधिपति श्री पुरुषोत्तम दास जी पसारी, वाइस चांसलर डॉक्टर उपेंद्र धर जी, वैष्णव ट्रस्ट समूह के सभी पदाधिकारीगण एवं ट्रस्टीगण, डायरेक्टर्स, एसडीओ, विश्वविद्यालय के समस्त अधिकारीगण एवं शिक्षकगण एवं प्यारे विद्यार्थियों, सर्वप्रथम मैं आज के समारोह के मुख्य अतिथि माननीय डॉक्टर विजय कुमार जी सारस्वत का आभार प्रकट करता हूं कि उन्होंने हमारे विश्वविद्यालय के 7वें स्थापना दिवस पर ऑनलाइन उपस्थित रहकर हमारे को गरिमा प्रदान की है। मुझे आज अत्यंत गर्व की अनुभूति हो रही है कि आज हमारा विश्वविद्यालय उन्नति की ओर अग्रसर होते हुए अपना 7वां स्थापना दिवस मना रहा है। मैं आज इस अवसर पर हमारे वैष्णव समूह के चेयरमैन एवं वैष्णव विद्यापीठ विश्वविद्यालय के कुलाधिपति श्री पुरुषोत्तम दास जी पसारी, वाइस चांसलर श्री उपेंद्र धर जी, डायरेक्टर्स, एचओडीज, फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, स्टाफ मेंबर्स, सहयोगियों और विद्यार्थियों का भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि सभी के प्रयासों से हमारा विश्वविद्यालय निरंतर प्रगति की ओर अग्रसित हो रहा है। विशेष रूप से मैं पसारी जी का उल्लेख करना चाहूंगा। उनकी कड़ी मेहनत, जुनून और जज्बे का परिणाम है कि आज हम इस मंजिल पर पहुंचे हैं। मेरा मानना है कि प्रतिस्पर्धा में आगे वही रहेगा जिसमें क्वालिटी कोई कंप्रोमाइज नहीं किया हो, क्योंकि क्वालिटी ही ऐसी करेंसी है which is accepted universally and it is also very important when a product is education. हमारा प्रयास निरंतर इम्प्रूवमेंट, सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, एनहांसमेंट और एक्सेलेंस के लिए होना चाहिए। मैं डॉक्टर उपेंद्र धर का भी बहुत आभार मानता हूं और उनसे अपेक्षा करता हूं कि उनकी पूरी टीम हमारे विश्वविद्यालय को देश और विदेश में अपना एक स्थान स्थापित करेगी। इस हेतु और उसका पूरा अपना भरपूर प्रयास करेगी। मैं इस अवसर पर यही कहूंगा, परिंदे रुकना मत, परिंदे रुकना मत, तुझसे बहुत आशा बाकी है, मंजिल दूर है, अभी उड़ान बहुत बाकी है। आज या कल मुट्ठी में होगी दुनिया, लक्ष्य पर अगर हमारा ध्यान बाकी है। एक यूं ही नहीं मिलती रब की मेहरबानी, एक से एक बढ़कर इम्तिहान बाकी है। जिंदगी की जंग में हौसला जरूरी है, जीतने के लिए सारा जहां बाकी है। अभी तो हमारी असली उड़ान बाकी है, अभी तो लांगा है हमने सिर्फ नदियों को, अभी तो पूरा समंदर और पूरा आकाश बाकी है। मैं पुनः आप सभी का आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। मैं हमारे मुख्य अतिथि माननीय डॉक्टर विजय सारस्वती जी का भी पुनः आभार मानता हूँ। सर, हमारा विश्वविद्यालय SVVV है और एक वी के रूप में आज आपको और हमने इंक्लूड कर लिया है। आज आप हमारे साथ हो गए हैं, एक वी हमारे साथ जुड़ गया है। सर, हम आपको हमारे विश्वविद्यालय में व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी मिलना चाहेंगे। हम आपका इस हेतु निमंत्रण स्वीकार करेंगे, ऐसी हमारी आशा है। सर, आपका इकबाल और बुलंद हो, आपकी खुशबू और जग में फैले, आप चिराई हो और हम देश एवं समाज की आप इसी प्रकार सेवा करते रहें। हम विश्वविद्यालय परिवार की ओर से आपको मंगल कामनाएं एवं आभार। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय वैष्णव, जय हिंद।
Thank you, sir. With this, we came to end of the program. I would like to thank to our chief guest, chancellor, vice chancellor, trust members, other guests, employees, and students of the university for being with us on this very special day. I wish more success of our Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya in the upcoming future. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. धन्यवाद सर।
नमस्कार।
Thank you, sir.
नमस्कार।
सर बधाई आपको एक बार फिर से।
और बधाई बहुत बहुत आपको बधाई साहब।
धन्यवाद सर, सभी को बधाई। धन्यवाद।
बधाई
सभी को बधाई।
सभी को बधाई।
नमित जी बधाई।
सर बधाई आपको सर, बहुत
हाँ,
बधाई सर।
भूपेंद्र धर साहब को बधाई, बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं वो, बहुत प्रयासरत हैं वो, हैं?
धन्यवाद धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद सबको बहुत।
और पसारी जी की तो बड़ी बहुत मेहनत है साहब।
भैया बहुत हो गया।
नहीं, नहीं।
ओके,
तो है।
ओके
अब हम एग्जिट कर सकते हैं।
जी सर,
हाँ,
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू वेरी मच।